was scrolling through Facebook and I saw this. That's right. School zones are going back to school hours. You know what that means? I bet you guessed it. You're going back to school. Now, how do you really feel about that? Are you excited to go back to school? Or get back to some normality? I mean, forget homework and stuff for the moment. Are you excited to see your friends more on a daily basis? Maybe not to sit in class, but I mean, there's gonna be a lot of changes coming up, you guys. I'm definitely praying for you, but I do hope that this is the beginning of something that's gonna go very well for you this year. Now, I do wanna take a little bit of time to do a little bit of announcements for you guys so you're kind of up to date about what's gonna happen in the next little bit. And this is where it's all gonna begin. You guys, I want you guys to start school first, okay? Youth isn't gonna start up for Friday nights quite yet because I wanna see how the adjustment to school is gonna go. We still are gonna do after school hangouts from 3 till 5 o'clock. I know you guys are done school at roughly around 3:30, so then when school starts, it'll go back to 3:30 to 5 o'clock so you guys can come hang out, de-stress a little bit. But that's kind of where we're gonna go for the time being, at least for September, because we can't necessarily do big activities like we normally would do without going against some laws, but I'm hoping that things will change shortly or sooner than later so that we can do, you know, bigger things like Christian Love Ball again and just have a big group activity where we're all hanging out. So that's in regards to Friday night youth. There's a big thing coming up, okay? Remember last spring we were gonna do highway cleanup, and then in June we were gonna go to Edmonton and we were gonna go to the water park and just have a big old shebang for youth group, and then of course things got canceled. Now here's the thing where it's gonna be getting back to a little bit to normal. Highway cleanup is happening on September 19th. You got that? That's Saturday, September 19th. And you want to be a part of this because with this highway cleanup, with this fundraiser, we get to gain enough money to do a big trip. So we're gonna want to plan a big trip. We want to kind of do things like this. West Edmonton Water Park. I hear that you can book times to go in. It's gonna be less crowded. More, I don't know if all the slides are open, but that's a potential to do. But it also comes down to how your parents feel about it, how you feel about it. So that's an option. We can also do this. Lots of food in Edmonton. Sometimes just going to Edmonton is fun. Or we could try some of this. Mini golf. Who doesn't enjoy a little bit of mini golf? I mean, there's a few other options. We're gonna probably take a survey and see how your parents feel about some of the things we wanna plan. And if we kind of get more of the side of we don't really like that, we might have to try to find other routes. But that is the plan, you guys. We wanna try to do what we wanted to do in June. So you wanna be a part of it. There'll be online forms. We want you to participate in this. Otherwise, you have to pay the full cost to go on this Edmonton trip. So I will send out a link next week for forms and then more information for September 19th. So that is the big announcement, you guys, that there is highway cleanup. Now, one final announcement regarding the Warzone tournament we had last Thursday. In 2 hours, nobody won. We had no one win. And so now we're gonna do a sudden death match for Call of Duty Warzone. And it's gonna be happening this Friday at 7 p.m. One game, one winner. So what's gonna happen is that Friday at 7 p.m. have your original team that you had last Thursday, and you're gonna play one game. The team with the most kills is gonna take the prize home. So what you're gonna do is whenever your game ends or whenever your whole squad is eliminated, you're gonna take a picture of how many kills you have as a team, and you're gonna send it to me. I mean, if you win one game, that one game, obviously you're going to take the prize. But I don't foresee a team winning unless you go for no kills and only a win. I tried that last Thursday, it didn't work out too well. So take a screenshot of it, you send it to me. One game, as many kills as you can, then that team will be crowned the winner. This Friday at 7 p.m. have your team ready to go. I also found that video. I just like to add really weird, stupid things that I think that's funny, but hey, once again, it might only be funny to me. I don't know about you. Hopefully you got a giggle about it. We have all met someone in our lives that has been a hypocrite. And obviously you guys hopefully will know what a hypocrite is, but if you don't, a hypocrite is someone who says one thing but does the opposite and doesn't do what they say they'll do. For example, this could be more like a personal matter in some ways, but say I don't eat candy, especially the caramels. The caramels are probably the grossest things you could eat. You wouldn't catch me eating one of those unless it was the last candy bar on earth and I just needed to have some candy. And then you go to the store and then you see me with the caramel eating it. You go, hey, didn't you say you don't like caramels? You wouldn't be caught dead eating the caramel? Then I'm all, and then you kind of bust it. That's a hypocrite. But I mean, that could expand to so many different things that you maybe experienced in your life. And sometimes the people that you look up to, sometimes the people who you think should not be hypocrites are. And sometimes it's the most well put together people, or the ones who make themselves out to be the most well put together people that seem to be sometimes the most hypocritical. And that's very unfortunate because these people are potentially in a position where you look up to them. Now Jesus, in Matthew, the first book of the Gospels, talks to the Pharisees. These are the religious leaders of their time. I'm a religious leader of the time. I'm a pastor. You guys look up to me. Obviously, you're watching this video. Now, Jesus is talking to them going, hey, people look up to you. People look to you for direction on how to seek God, on how to find God. And here you are saying things, but you're not following them yourselves. You say you shouldn't do this, but here you are doing this. Don't lie, but here you are lying. And Jesus calls them out. And that's the thing that Jesus does. And I think I kind of touched a little base on this in the previous videos of Jesus calling things out. But Jesus does these things. He calls them a hypocrite, not to make them angry, but obviously they felt attacked and responded in anger. But it was for the fact that he wanted them to change their ways. And so Jesus calls them out in Matthew chapter 23. And he says this specifically about them. And he says, therefore, all that they tell you, the Pharisees, do and observe, but do not show what they say in their deeds. For they say things and don't do them. That's plain and simple. You say things, but you're not doing it. Why would you even say it if you don't plan on doing it? Are you just trying to make yourself look good in their face? But when they figure out that you lied to them, they're not going to look good on you. So then why do you put yourself in a position like that? He continues to say, they tie up heavy burdens and lay them on the men's shoulders, but they themselves are unwilling to move them with so much as a finger. But they do all their deeds to be noticed by men, for they broaden their physicalities and lengthen the tassels of the garment. That verse is probably the biggest verse you need to pay attention to. They do all their deeds to be noticed by men, to make themselves look good. Now, how many of you guys, your motive to do something is to look good? Okay, growing up, you guys, sometimes as a teenager for myself, I would do something so that a girl would notice me, but I would never do it if the girl wasn't going to be there. I remember, oh man, hopefully Paul doesn't watch this, or maybe he already knew about this. When I was in youth group, the church I went to was rebuilding their stage. And our youth pastor was like, hey, we could use some of the youth's help. And so we ended up, I was like, well, I know nothing about building. I know nothing necessarily about super hard work like that. But the girl I liked, her dad was involved. And so if I showed up, maybe her dad would like me a little bit more, and then maybe she would notice me because I was good. I was helping out when other people said no. And this is where the hypocritical part also comes into place, is that we arrived at the place to begin work. There was a lot of other men there that were tearing it down and getting it all structured and all that. I don't think I even touched the stage. I went there and there was other youth that I was hanging out with, and I think we just went to the youth room and we just hung out. The thing is, the girl was down there, but she didn't see me helping out when I said I would help out, and I didn't. And I wanted to be noticed, and that's why I did it. But in the end, I didn't do it, and people were like, well, why didn't you help? And so in the end, people looked at me as maybe not necessarily reliable, or they go, well, it's a teenager, what good are they? I never want anyone to look at you guys as teenagers, as younger people, and them going, what good are they? They're useless. They just want to play video games and do nothing. If anything, I want them to understand that you guys are truthful to your words. And I've seen it in you guys already. I've seen you guys going, hey, I'm going to help out with Kids Zone, and you show up. That's amazing, because you guys are building into these younger kids and going, these kids are going, if these teenagers are willing to help out, maybe I'm going to come. And it's interesting because when some of you guys show up, I see more of the kids show up because they like you, because they enjoy your company. And so it's better to show up when you say you're going to than be hypocritical and thought otherwise, because if you're going to be hypocritical, people aren't going to ask you to come do it again. Over the summer, I asked a few youth if they could watch Liam, and you guys came through and it was amazing. Liam talked about, I'm going to say Connor. Connor came to watch him one day, and Liam just talked about Connor like all the way home about how much fun he had. If Connor didn't show up, I wouldn't have been able to go to my appointment. Liam wouldn't have been, just boasting about how awesome the time he had. And then I wouldn't really ask Connor to do something again if in the future I needed something. And so in the end, you guys, Jesus wasn't tearing them down just to leave them on the ground, but he's calling them out on a situation that is going to kind of cause them not to be looked upon as someone favorable, to be looked upon as someone who people can talk to or rely on. He's going, change your ways, because it's better to be trusted than it is to be thrown on the ground and feeling good about yourself for a little bit. So you guys, in the end, don't be a hypocrite. Be someone who is true to their word, who is trustworthy, who will do what they say. And you guys will go way further in your walk with Jesus, in your walk with other people, if you're truthful. That's the Jesus message for today, you guys. I will catch you in the next video or the next hangout.